Hiya folks, how's it going? My name is Lexi and I really like tabletop games. So much so that we get together once a week, every week, and review one here at the gaming table. If that sounds interesting to you, I encourage you to press subscribe and keep watching today's video. I try to get these reviews done in under 10 minutes so we can both find our next game. If you are really keen to support this channel, I do have a link in the description box to my Ko-Fi page where you can donate to help keep the gaming table running. Every single donation goes straight back into the running costs of this channel. For today's review, I went and borrowed a copy of a game from a friend, so I better get cracking with this review so I can return it to them. From Free League Publishing, this is Blade Runner, the role-playing game. I do have to admit something. I have not seen, read, or consumed a single piece of Blade Runner media, so I am approaching this game with absolutely no context whatsoever. I will say though, I don't think I've missed out on anything by coming to this game with no prior knowledge. A lot of the lore and context I needed was covered in the game manual. The basic gist is it's the future in Los Angeles, which has grown into a tall city of skyscrapers and neon lights. It always seems to be raining somehow or about to rain. In this setting, the players take on roles as special members of law enforcement. You see, technology has grown. Now, thanks to a change in legislation, replicants walk among humans. They're almost perfect humans, but artificial. There's a lot of fear and prejudice around replicants, and sometimes replicants snap. So the police have developed a special force who are skilled at taking down replicants. Interestingly, in this game you can play as both a human or a replicant member of this special force. While replicants definitely have an advantage against humans in many aspects, the amount of discrimination and hatred they go through tends to, I guess, even out the differences. In this game, one of the first things you need to decide is whether or not your character is going to be a human or a replicant. This affects the character creation process. Replicants and humans can't always take on the same roles within the task force. It does also contribute to your character's backstory. Once you've got part of your backstory sketched out, you select which of your attributes are going to be your strongest. In this game, there are 4 of them: strength, agility, intelligence, and empathy. The better you are at a certain attribute, the higher the die that you will roll for it. It ranges from a d6 to a d12. Characters also have pools of points to represent their health and their resolve. Then you go and select some skills that your character has. The better you are at a skill, the higher the die you roll for it. So for most challenges, a player will roll for their character a die from their attribute and perhaps an applicable die from their skill. The higher you roll, the better things turn out. I do really enjoy that a significant part of the character creation process is creating your character's backstory and their memories. There is a debate in the world of Blade Runner of what makes a person, what makes humans different to replicants. Memories are significant to people in this story. A character's humanity, be they human or replicant, is extremely important and can get worn down as the story goes on. Every so often the core manual references things that came in the starter set. I found this a little bit frustrating. I tend to feel that when you're purchasing a core rulebook, you should be getting pretty much everything you need to play the game, aside from dice and pen and paper. Referring to things like initiative cards did initially throw me. I will admit I am personally a bit tired of tabletop games coming out, seemingly only because they are tied to a particular popular intellectual property. I think Free League's Blade Runner is a demonstration of a good example of a tabletop game with an intellectual property tie-in. The manual is clear. You don't have to have consumed any previous media to understand the world and the game. I can't fault the quality of Blade Runner, the role-playing game. While I did mention that I am a bit tired of having so many tabletop games being tied to an intellectual property, I think if we are going to have them, I want them to be of the same quality level or higher than Blade Runner. As this game is sort of a mystery slash procedural drama story, I think it suits two players best. Generally, the duo is what makes a mystery story so interesting. Though I suppose there are a few shows I can think of that have ensemble casts, but it tends to be that there's sort of one or two characters who are being the leads per episode. I would say if you're going to play this game with more than two players, I would suggest two players be the sort of leads and the other players get the opportunity to play multiple characters, as there's some roles in this game manual that I don't necessarily see coming up every time you run a session or run a storyline. I don't think you need to be familiar with Blade Runner to jump into this game manual, which is fantastic. The neon noir future setting is something that's become more familiar to us these days. And I think this game taps into some of our contemporary anxieties in a really engaging manner. I've seen this core rulebook be priced roughly around $50 US. While this is a really high quality manual, I do think it being directly tied to an intellectual property does mean that it's going to be intimidating for some people to pick up. I would suggest being able to maybe read through a friend's copy or one at your local gaming store to see if it's going to be a good fit for you. So I didn't need to know anything about Blade Runner to enjoy this game. I tend to feel like I should be doing homework when I am sitting down to play a tabletop role-playing game set in an established intellectual property. What do you think? Do you prefer games that are inspired by, or do you prefer if they have a direct tie-in? Of course, that direct tie-in does bring a bit more publicity to the game, so that is a potential benefit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. While you're there, I encourage you to like this video, perhaps even share it with a friend who might have some thoughts about the Blade Runner role-playing game. If you'd like to see when I next upload, you can subscribe and turn on notifications. I do also have in my description box a link to my Ko-Fi page if you'd like to help fund this channel. Maybe give my friends a poor break from me pinching their books to review. All donations do go directly straight back into the running costs of the channel, so they are much appreciated. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you next time at the gaming table. Bye!